Alright, so today we're doing another Woopdeedoop Podcast because I was gonna film a video, a highly anticipated one, at least for me, today, but I got distracted, and today I'm gonna tell you the story of why I was distracted. I was filming the video, and then I looked out the window, and it was raining today, so there was a lot of clouds in the sky, so seeing a huge cloud wasn't really unnatural to me. I was expecting a huge cloud, but then I looked at the cloud, and it was darker than all of the other clouds, and it was moving really fast, and like, in Boy Scout training and just common sense, if a cloud is really dark and moving really fast, then it's probably smoke, not a cloud. And so I was like, if this cloud is smoke, I have to trace it all the way back to where it starts and then see if it goes down to the ground. So I did, and it was a plume of smoke. So I was like, "Aw, snap, buddy, I gotta go check out what's on fire." So that's pretty much exactly what I did. I got out of my house, and I went to check out what the heck was on. Oh man, I went to go check out what the heck was on fire. So this is the story of my journey to go see what was on fire. So, at first, I start by going down the street to the park, because that's where the fire looks like it's coming from, right? And when I get there, there's a fence blocking the rest of the way to the fire. I initially thought that the fire was closer to the park than it was. But when I got to the fence that blocked off the park from the orchards, I could not see the fence. So, I mean, I could not see the base of the fire, the actual blaze itself. It was obviously still kind of far away. So, I realized that I needed to go around via the train tracks, because the train tracks run right next to the park. And unlike the park, there is no fence to stop the train tracks from going that direction. So, I followed the train tracks all the way down. You see, but on the way there, apparently, forget about that on the way there. Apparently, when I got to the train tracks, and I looked down to the tracks, you could see that the fire was like on the tracks, and it wasn't on the tracks. It was right next to the tracks, to the left of the tracks. And because of that, I thought, oh, they must have notified whoever like drives the train, because you wouldn't want to drive a train through a really smoky area where it might be on fire, right? But they didn't. So on the way there, when I was walking on the tracks, expecting there not to be a train, because I didn't think they would have called a train, even though there was fire. They did. I heard the horn of the train blaring, and I don't know about you guys, if you guys have ever walked on a train tracks and then heard a train. That's a viscerally terrifying experience. And trains are loud, very loud. So, when you're next to a train and it's running, and it honks its horn, or just its state of being there, it's so loud. So, like freaking Matrix style, I freaking dove into the bushes next to the train tracks, and like covered my ears with my, I plugged my ears with my fingers, and I just kind of started going ba 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 to make more noise than the train, at least next to my ears, so I wouldn't go deaf that close to the train, because I was close to the train. I'm talking like close to the train being running maybe 15 feet, away from the train, and I would have gone, and I'm pretty sure my ears would not be as good as they are right now if I hadn't plugged my ears as the train ran past. But then, when that happened, I decided to keep going forward and just try to get to the fire wherever it was. And then I got to the orchard next to what was on fire. And what turned out to be on fire was actually an old junkyard. I wasn't expecting that, I'll tell you what. The old junkyard apparently had caught fire. And it was like kind of scary because there are so many cars there, right? And when I was kind of close, not really close, like maybe 100 feet away, I heard a loud bang, like a like imagine a baseball bat hitting like a sheet of metal, except 100 times louder. And there was like a afterwards. I heard an explosion, like a real explosion. And I was like, what the heck was that? So the rest of the time I was near the fire, I plugged my ears again. So, like, if I were to hear another one of those explosions, I wouldn't go deaf immediately. And, like, I was in the orchard right next to the junkyard, trying not to be seen by any of the fire department, because they would tell me, they might get me in trouble, tell me to go home, or worse, call my mom. And I saw somebody coming, like a guy, so I ran into the orchard as deep as I could before I could be an eye shot of this guy. And then I realized it was an old man, and he wouldn't really do anything because he had just gotten out of like a truck. He was obviously here to look at what was happening too. Like, he wasn't like getting in there to like help with the fire or anything. He was there to look at what was happening. So I got a little bit closer, and he told me old Waterbury must have ticked somebody off. And at this point, my ears were still plugged, so I took my fingers out of my ears and said, "What?" And he said, "Old Waterbury must have ticked somebody off." And I asked him, "What?" Again, he said, "Waterbury was the old man that ran this junkyard." And I'm not joking, you guys. And I know this sounds like I'm writing a story here, but I'm not. He said that Waterbury was the old man, was like the name of the old man that ran the junkyard. He died a while back, but his daughter got the means to the estate, I guess. And like the stuff that Waterbury did, whoever he was, gave him multiple millions of dollars, apparently. He ran like an oil company, the junkyard, a thrift store. And remember, this is all coming from the old man, so I'm not sure exactly how, like, trustable it is. But, you know, it might be. Anyway, he said that the Waterbury was very, like, mean to the local homeless. Because there are a lot of homeless in this town. Like, I mean, a lot. But, there are a lot of homeless, and Waterbury apparently was not too kind to them. And as revenge, the homeless lit things on fire, things of his, and this was not the first time they had done this before. And originally I was a little skeptical, like, I don't think the homeless would react in such a way that they just started lighting things on fire. And then the old man brought me a little, shallower into the junkyard, like, not all the way to the blaze, but, like, a couple 100 feet away from the blaze, he pointed out an old burnt-up Mustang, and he said that that was his car, but the homeless people burnt it because Waterbury was being mean to them. And then I believed him because it was obviously burnt. And honestly, I'm kind of glad that I ran into this dude, because he was just like an exposition dump, dude. He just kept talking about what happened here, and I left satisfied with what I had learned, because he just told me like everything. It was so cool. But I'm not sure why they lit it. Like started another fire. Waterbury apparently is dead. So there's no real point. But that's pretty much that. They have the fire put out by now. The rain helped. It was raining today. But they have the fire put out, so I guess don't have to worry about that. And I guess it was arson, so there's that. When I was walking up to the fire, I suspected 3 things because it was so close to the tracks. Either a train wreck, like the train derailed, a car crash, like one of the cars had crossed the street at the same time as the train, and it crashed, or somebody caused a fire to keep the train from crossing, like arson, but because they didn't want the train to go. I'm not sure. That was the third one that I came up with. Apparently none of them were true. It was actually a grudge against somebody who was right next to the train track. So, here's to succeeding my expectations. Other than that, there's not a lot about the fire, so there's not a lot to talk about with that. I'm glad I figured it out, and I'm glad I went on that walk to figure out what happened to the fire, because obviously I did. And it was very informational. First arson I've ever witnessed. So, Anyway, that's all that I had planned for this podcast. Thanks for listening. I'm very happy that you decided to tune in and listen to what I have to say. If you think that this is pretty good podcast and you would like to listen to more of it, go check out the previous 4 episodes. They're each either 15 or 30 minutes long. Or you could just subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, because I post as daily as I can. Obviously, I don't get every day, because I've been on this platform for more than a year and a half, and I still haven't posted 365 videos. I don't know, I'm somewhere close to 100 now, though. So, I mean, way more than 100, but, somewhere around there. Oh, didn't mean to clap that loud. That's all. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you loved it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.